Hello my friends, so glad you're with me today. We are going to be focusing on a couple of new holiday release types of products today from the Sephora Collection. So when you latch into something really good from this line, it's very exciting because you often tend to be getting a really good deal with Sephora's house brand, you know? So given how much I loved last year's big Sephora eyeshadow palette, I definitely went after it again this year. This is what this year's looks like. It's got this really thick, kind of ripply top. It's pretty weighty actually. It's $45. It's called the Amazing Eyeshadow Palette and you're getting so much inside. We have loads of neutrals. We've got rosiness. There's a lot of purpley toned shimmer. I worked in some of that yesterday. Today I'm thinking of getting into the green down in the bottom. I always pinch my finger when I shut it. It's heavy, but I'm really feeling like it's so far so good with this palette. My first look with it was kind of bronzy, like classic fall. I did work in some shimmer on the lid. I thought it looked really pretty, and you can just get some very basic everyday looks out of this kind of palette. And then when I was using it just yesterday, I played with some of the really sparkly, and excuse Biddy in the background of the pictures I was taking. She was up early that day, but I enjoyed playing with some of those like lavender pops that are in there. But what's neat about this year is they kind of combined both concepts. Last year they went with an entirely more neutral palette, which I really liked, and then one that was more colorful. And here this year it's almost as though they're just putting both together. Although I would have to say it still kind of veers more toward the neutral side of things. But also from Sephora Collection, I decided I wanted to try their little blush set here. It's called Perfectly Blushed, and it comes with this double-ended brush and also the compact, which includes a mirror. You've got a cream blush, a powder blush, and a highlighter. This is $29 for this whole set, and I've been playing with this as well. So before I get into adding both of those things to my look today, I thought I'd let you know what things I have on my face. I've been using this little primer quite a bit lately. It's the Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Smoothing Primer. It's kind of like balmy. I actually do use this little applicator that pops out to like get you some when you start, and I feel like I've had some really good staying power using this, so I've just been like trying it under lots of different foundation-y type products. Went very lightweight today. This is from Catrice. I don't often talk about this one. It's their Nude Drop Tinted Serum. 36C is my shade, and I feel like the shade is just kind of coming into being really appropriate for my skin tone right now, but it's a pretty product. You can kind of tell you're still seeing some freckles through on my skin. It is not full coverage, but I actually feel like I get a really beautiful medium coverage out of that, and it's very thin and lightweight. Also went with Catrice Concealer. This is the True Skin in Cool Cashmere. Set my under eyes with Maybelline Fit Me Loose powder in Fair, which is just really, I think, the most brightening, honestly. And then Maybelline Super Stay Hybrid Powder Foundation shade 128 is lightly all over to set the rest of my skin. And then I've really been coming back into my Maybelline City Bronzer. The shade is 300, and especially when this was new to me, I'd look at it and say, oh, it's so warm, you know, it might be even orangey. But really, when that shears out on my skin, I get such a real looking tan. Like something about seeing this shade blend up around the hairline and give a soft contour every time. I feel like I really like it, so I've been using that more lately too. And then I went ahead and did my brows with Morphe Nano Pencil in Java and the Micromanager Gripping Brow Gel. I feel like I can tell it's a Monday because the words just aren't coming out as easily today. We had a weekend. We had a very full weekend starting Friday night. We had this tailgate thing that the PTO was hosting, so there's bounce houses everywhere. And the kids fully exhausted themselves on that. Belle also had her performance down on the track where like the high school kids teach the younger ones. And then Saturday kicked off bright and early, 8 a.m. flag football game, 10:30 soccer game, and then Belle's birthday party at the cheer gym was later that night. And that went awesome. That was so much fun. All I can say is it was pure joy. Like you're walking around that gym watching kids play and have fun, all smiles. Like it was wonderful. And then church yesterday, and I thought I was going into a really low-key Sunday, but I found myself cleaning and needing to meal prep, and I need another day. I need another weekend. But I'll get some stuff done today for sure when everybody goes to school. But we're gonna use this, okay? This is our little blush palette. So this set comes with just this one colored blush option, and they call it a monochrome cheek palette. And I've really been liking it. I like how they packaged it. I like that there's this little clear window over the cream blush, and this is the cream blush side of the blush brush. See that? It's kind of bendy, you know. It doesn't have the density of like a Sephora 56, but it still seems to be able to work with this blush, which is very, very thin. It's pigmented, but it's just got such a thinness to it. See how I am able to pick it up with the brush? and it blends super easily. Went very apple of the cheek with this application, but that's okay. But like if you're familiar, I mentioned this the first time I was talking about this, if you're familiar with like the Milani Cheek Kiss, I feel like those have a real slickness to them as well, but these feel even thinner and they blend out feeling kind of cream to powderish. So I would say the ease of use here is really, really good. And if you've been looking for a blush that can apply some of these thin texture cream and liquid blushes, you might enjoy this one. I still think Sephora 56 is my favorite, but whatever type of brush is here at the end can definitely deal well with this formula. So see, we're getting kind of a dusty rose cheek. The main color punch from this is for sure coming from your cream blush. So I would say get to the level you want to be at there, if not even a little beyond, because I feel like the powder blush, if you want to layer that one up on it, it's more muted. Sometimes in these combo products, the powder blush will really intensify it. Here, it's more of something that calms it down. So apply as much of that cream as you want. And part of why I decided to get this is because I really have loved a lot of my Sephora Collection brushes, and I felt like this would be a good one to have. I like the Sephora angled brush that I already have, and this one's really good with the powder products too. So I thought I'd continue to get use out of it beyond just this product. Okay, so there we are. We blended in our nice rosy blush, and then we've got this matte here and also a shimmer. The shimmer really behaves so much just like a standard highlight for me. I'm going to take my angled side into that little strip there and just blend that in over top. And you see what I mean? How it kind of just takes your blush down a notch. Not a huge step down, but it almost makes everything seem a little more blurred and blended, which is cool. It's a cool effect to have, actually. But you see what that did? It has kind of like a tinted setting powder vibe. And then I'm gonna work off of the tip of the angle brush. Okay, so I'm not picking up shimmer all over the brush, just on the tip. And then you can kind of work that in for a little glow on top of the cheeks. Very pigmented. It's really good. Like, I'm using it pretty softly here. You could use a more pinpointed brush or flat out pick up more of the product than I am and get a more intense shimmer. But I think that's a really pretty compact. I like the brush. It's a very strong like for me because you're still paying $29 for this. Okay, it's not dirt cheap. And if I'm honest, I would have maybe liked even more intensity out of this blush palette. I think it's a very nice little everyday thing. And I do like my finished look and I'm gonna continue using it, but I feel like I could have enjoyed even a little more richness out of it. But I do like the included brush and I'm gonna keep using that. Next up, we're gonna move into an eye look, and I am gonna begin that eye look with Milani eyeshadow primer. I really had to have a major makeup comeback by the end of the day for that party because I sweat so much at the soccer game. We were just right out there in the sun. I brought an umbrella to kind of try to help, but it was one of those days where if you'd feel just the slightest bit of a breeze, it felt like so much relief, you know, but there really wasn't much. So I was sweating and I looked at my makeup later on and I felt like it just looked very worn down, looked a little patchy down in here where I don't know if I was resting on my hand or what. My under eyes looked real like dry and worn, and I found myself dampening a little mini beauty blender type of sponge and just pressing over areas where the makeup looked patchy. I'm not even faulting whatever foundation I had on. I can't even remember which one it was. The sweat was definitely like dripping down my forehead all over my face. I don't know how anything really could have survived, but I dabbed over it in an attempt to kind of blend in any existing product. Went in really lightly with a little bit of this concealer because I feel like this concealer never looks too thick. Just added a little bit more to freshen up the under eye area, and it took. That worked. And then I dabbed all over with some Maybelline Superstay Hybrid Powder Foundation. Was it my best look if you were at close range? Definitely not. But it was a lot better than like right after the soccer game. And I gave myself a fresh kind of bold lip and that sort of took over. But anyway, let's get to this palette. We've got so many different directions we can go. I do feel like they really leaned into lavender types of shimmer, and like I got into some of this yesterday. I definitely worked with some of that shade. This shade is very glazy. That thing that looks, I'm pointing to it with my pinky, but it's very, very sparkly there. But there is a lot of glitz potential in this palette, and that's fun. But then if you sort of cover that up, you've got a lot of earthiness too. We've got bronzy shades. There's plenty of brown in this palette. There's plenty of depth in here too. And wearing some sparkle yesterday, yes, my church eye had some sparkle. I don't mind. I felt it adhered pretty well too. It didn't get all over my cheeks. But we're gonna start things off with today's look. I'm gonna go over to this kind of yellowy mid-tone right here, this little square. Massive mirror, by the way. With how indestructible the lid lid of this palette is. I mean, maybe this is a good travel thing. I feel like you'd throw it in a bag, nothing would crack. And then you've got this huge mirror where you can see your entire face. And it is going to stand up like this, so it could sit on top of a eye level surface and actually work for you. Staying with the same shade, just building it a little bit. Just this warm, kind of beigey, hint of honey mustard type of color. But I really love the quality of Sephora Collection palettes like this. I've even used like a smaller Sephora Collection thing here or there and not been quite as impressed with the quality as I have in these larger palettes, which often it's the reverse that's true. I'm gonna head over to this warm shade right here, this larger one. Kind of a warm brown, and I'm gonna start adding that to my crease. And then we're gonna work in some of the greenish intensity that this palette has. You can really tell there's some richness in this color, but it will blend. Notice how I'm kind of raising that up. I'm really getting it as sheer as I want it to be, up in the near brow area. Just a dab in. If you love eyeshadow and you like to play, I don't know why you'd overlook this palette, because A, it's good, but B, there's not a lot of other really fun looking stuff coming out yet eyeshadow wise. Outside of like the Natasha Denona realm, which I think that's still fun, but it's very neutral. The eye sculpt, texture and tone stuff, that'll be another video coming. But maybe it's just my age and the era in which I really got into makeup, but I love a big fun holiday eyeshadow palette. I think I always will. Now I think I might be seeing a hint of olive in this shade right down here. So I'm not sure how I want to work this in. I think maybe a little bit of this on the outermost corner. I'm taking my Morphe M303. It's so bunglesome to hold this up every time. But I'm thinking we just get this on the outside, and I really can see the olive in that. But then I want to come inward with more of the real green that's in this palette. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, nice. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did we just throw up there? Excuse me? Not to gross you guys out, but a hairball has arrived on the makeup room floor. Courtesy of Biscuits Q Bear. I think that's her full name. I think we're pretty much at the 1-year anniversary of Pumpkin Spice becoming a house cat. Or as we say, she was a kitten of the streets and now she's a kitten of the home. They still don't get along, by the way. Biscuits and her. And Pumpkin Spice is like a tortoiseshell tabby. Some of you have identified her as a Torby, and apparently they are notoriously like sassy cats. So yeah, we're experiencing that. And she's also just younger, more kitten mode, and she's still just too aggressive for Biscuits. A little bit more with my small pointed brush. Oh, hello. Feeling better now? I need to clean that up, but I don't want to stop the eye look. Bisky says, I'm just contributing to the real feel of the Monday. Just want to make sure you know. I love you. Yes. It's okay. By all means, you know. Do you want down? You've reached the point of no return, Bisky. There's no place else to go. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I'm still working with the shade that's got the tiniest hint of olive because I do want that on the outside, but then I'm gonna go to this green right here. Biddy was viewing this palette the other day. I said, look at the greens in the bottom, and she said, that's not green, that's gold. But I feel like there's a hint of green in that too. Just look at it and then look at like this gold. This is very pure, this is very like, you're a little murky, but I'm getting some of this guy right here. Oh, that's nice. Okay, it's a little darker than I thought it was going to show up. Are you seeing what I'm seeing there? That's beautiful. Wow. Okay. She's pigmented and darker than I thought, and she is now officially going to like overlap everything that was out there on the lid. All that soft olive we were doing. What are you doing now? Chasing around Q-tips. I'm finding myself working it into the crease, working it absolutely everywhere it can go because I got quite a bit on my brush. It was more than I was anticipating, but I'm okay with it. We're going over here. Now I'm going in real gently and it's not looking the same. That's the thing. You gotta go just as full on over here too. I hope all y'all pick up a Morphe M303 though. Man, it is edging this shade up into the crease just the way I need it to be. And it's just got a really pretty sheen. I hope it's translating on camera. I don't have it fully blended, but what's on the lid from this green is super pretty. I would say go back to crease brush. Now that we've put so much of that green actually into our crease, you need a little something to come in and blend that better. Then I'm inviting in the M302, which is slightly smaller than the 303. And I'm curious about this shade, like we said. I think it's gonna look good side by side with this, but it's just kind of a matter of how much greenish quality will she show. Definitely looking golden side by side, but I think she's got some green in it. And I'm finding myself just zhuzhing the brush in there over the border of those two so they blend. It's pretty. I'm glad they placed them like that in the palette because that's really drew my eye to that lower corner and made me think about putting them together because they look good. This eye is like, yes, the leaves are just changing. They've still got some green, but they're trying to turn gold. It's good. And you know what I don't have? Any fallout. And that was a dark shimmer on that green. Thrilled with it. I feel like my shape is a bit more on point on this side compared to this side. Like I might want just a tinge more green. And by the way, if we're talking really pretty shimmers in here, this one up here, this has some sheen, but she is awesome. Just a little more green. Not really because I'm trying to load up green color, but just shaping purposes, you know? I'm on my way to finishing off this look, but I feel like maybe this would be super pretty with it. It's my L'Oreal Lace Shadow Stick in Twilight Emerald. I pull this mirror in. I know it's gonna show in the corner, but ooh, it's just a hint darker than the eyeshadow shade. Pretty though. Can't get over how easy these are to apply. I'm going to officially finish off the eye look and I'll be back. So here's our finished look. Again, across the upper lash line, we've got the, what was it called? Twilight Emerald from the L'Oreal Lace Shadow Stick Smoky line. Got that across the top with some Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara. On the lower lash line, I said I was going to go bare there, but I opted for a little something. I used Magnetic Bronze from the L'Oreal Lace Shadow Sticks. So look at these two. Aren't they cute together? That gives a very like medium neutral brownish look with a soft sheen. That's on the lower lash line along with e.l.f. Lash Extender, okay? I am so pleased with that finished eye. That was so much fun. And then on my lips, I'm using Revlon Color Stay Lip Liner in Nude. And then I took the nude color from the new Tower 28 Lip Softies set. This one's called Iced Dolce de Leche. And it did give like a creamy kind of lightening effect to this lip liner that I put all over. And those just feel so good. They smell so good. I've got to make sure I do a video at some point trying all those on for you. But yeah, that is my finished look today, friends, using a couple of new things from the Sephora collection for the holidays. My number one pick is the eye palette. Like, I am enjoying this so much. I've loved both of the other looks that I've done. And then this one today, the way that green is so much more intense than I was even planning on. Like, I love that. I love that tone, the intensity, the sheen that it gives on the lids is super pretty. But just look at all the neutrals that are in here too. And then it's just like these fun splashes of color. I haven't worked with this one yet, but she's coming. She needs to get involved somehow. But there's rosiness, there's browns, there's bronze, green, purple plumminess happening here. This shade, as I was mentioning earlier, it's that one. It's like a soft, smoky purple. This palette is just kind of an eyeshadow playground, and you know if you're that kind of person who wants that, or maybe even feels nostalgic for the fun eyeshadow palettes of years past. On the blush, I will say, like, this is a strong like, but maybe not a massive love on this. Just because, like I said, I could have used maybe a little more intensity out of the whole picture. Maybe the powder blush could have been something just a little bit deeper, but at the same time, it does have kind of an interesting blurring effect on the cream blush, so things look a little more perfected, but then your other shade here really isn't blushy at all. It's more of just a highlighter. I do enjoy that double-ended brush though. And I was realizing I didn't try anything lip-wise from Sephora Collection, but as I was checking my prices here for my products I'm talking about, I see they have a Best Lip Combo Duo gift set. It says it has a juicy lip tint and liner, and the color of that, oh, look at that berry. That might be something to try too. You know me, real hard up for berry lip colors around here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative for you, and I'll see you again very soon. I love you. Bye.